We're joined by Rabbi Beth Singer, the co-senior rabbi at Temple Emmanuel here. This is a show about congregations in San Francisco, and particularly women in ministry on this Mother's Day. Welcome, Rabbi Beth.
Thank you. It's a delight to be here.
Your congregation?
Congregation Emmanuel, one of the older Reformed congregations in the country. It was founded in 1850, and I had previously been serving a congregation that's soon to be 60 years old. So it's a tremendous privilege to have come here just about 2 years ago with my husband to be co-senior rabbis of this really historic and vibrant congregation in the city.
And where are you located again?
We're right off Park Presidio on Arguello Street, and it's just a beautiful historic building. I hope people come by and visit. It's quite special. You almost have to go to Spain to find something like it.
Wow. And something about yourself.
Well, I grew up in Southern California, and when I was growing up, there were no women rabbis. And when I was 13 and had my bat mitzvah, I thought I would like to be a rabbi, and I didn't realize that the first woman had been ordained. And I just feel so grateful to be living in a time when women can be called to be rabbis and leaders of the Jewish community. And it's a great time. And on this Mother's Day, I know Rabbi Ekdal and I, You've
been promoted. You've been promoted. There you go.
Thank you.
Reverend Ekdal and I are both mothers and pastors, and I think that's a very exciting place to be at this moment in time.
Terrific.
Well, our children, our daughters see us in ministry, and your daughter is following in your footsteps.
Right,
Mine's only 12, so
you never know.
Yeah, you do
never know. We wouldn't have expected that, but it is very fulfilling work, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. Yeah, it's very meaningful to help share God's grace in a broken world, to try to reach out, to heal the world, to serve, and to humbly listen. Right. To be engaged in our communities, and certainly that's what our two communities are trying to do together.
Absolutely.
For example, you and your congregants come to St. Mark's during the winter homeless shelter to feed those men.
And of course, this is something that's been going on a long time before we arrived on the scene, but it's not uncommon in cities all across America that churches and synagogues find one another because we're all rooted in these teachings of the Bible, the Christian Bible, the Jewish Bible. To take care of the most vulnerable in our societies. And so whenever we get to a town, I started out, my first congregation was in Westchester, New York, and then 18 years in Seattle, and now here in San Francisco. We always look for interfaith groups because we're here doing work for the homeless, we're here doing work for people who are hungry, for sexual minorities, and we find that if we can team up, we're going to be more effective in the work that we're doing.
Absolutely. One of the things that St. Mark's is proud of is our 120 unit apartment complex that is affordable housing for seniors. And that's been a mission of St. Mark's since the 1960s. Again, it's an interfaith community. It's not just Lutherans living at Martin Luther Tower. It's an interfaith community that is protecting and providing a home for vulnerable seniors here in the city. So again, this affordable housing theme is certainly on the minds of each one of us.
And that's something that we're working together with the Interfaith Council. We go to those meetings and we're working on creating places for teachers and firefighters and just people to be able to live in our community, because as Reverend Henderson said earlier, I don't think I could live in this community without the support of my synagogue, and we want it to be a place for everybody.
Yeah. Say a word about the gun reduction violence piece that we worked on together.
And that was really interesting how that came to be. There's a rabbi in my denomination, and he had a very difficult personal experience. His father was murdered by gun violence, and he has dedicated his rabbinate at this point in his life to reduction of gun violence. With respect to the Second Amendment, we do respect the Second Amendment, but we feel like there could be a reduction in gun violence. It's just awful to open up the newspapers every day and read what we read. And so he reached out to us and asked us to contact Mayor Lee here in San Francisco to sign on to a really thoughtful proposal to have the mayors agree that when the city purchases all the guns they have to purchase for law-abiding reasons, that they hold the gun manufacturers accountable for some very simple ways that reduce gun violence. And we sent a letter, the two of us and a group of rabbis and clergy, to Mayor Lee, and he really stepped up and signed on to it. And it's very exciting. And he said to me in a breakfast that we had, I really appreciate when the churches and synagogues work together and that we all work together. So that was exciting. We'll have to figure out what we're going to do next.
Yes, we will figure out what we're going to do next, and figure out what St. Mark's and Temple Emmanuel can do next together.
Right, because it's a big thing that you host the homeless people, you know, day in and day out, and we come in and we serve some meals, and we feel like, what else? What more could we be doing?
Right. Well, Temple Emmanuel is a big, big institution. You do so much in the city.
Right.
Yeah, you really do.
We work very closely with a food pantry, and we have a historic partnership with Third Baptist Church with Reverend Amos Brown, and we are part of the Back on Track tutoring literacy program there. There are a host of programs that Emmanuel is involved in, and we're currently rethinking our whole structure to enable as many congregants as possible to engage in social action with the synagogue and then also with the churches.
Good. We do have fun, though, too. You know, it's a lot of hard work. St. Mark's throws a great Oktoberfest every year in October. And then we have this lovely service where we bless animals and pets to commemorate St. Francis of Assisi. So there's serious work to be done, and there's also a time to rejoice, to celebrate together, to celebrate what we have in common. And we do that primarily through worship.
It's true. We have parties, and we try to make our worship very musical. We haven't gotten to animals, but we do a baby blessing at the beginning of the year that ties into one of the portions of Torah. And hundreds of people show up with their new babies, and it's very thrilling to watch them all holding these babies, to holding the future. I mean, we worry a lot about the future of the Jewish people because we're such a tiny, tiny people. And Emmanuel, it's 165 years old, and our whole purpose is to move the wonderful teachings of our religion forward into the next generation and the one after that. So it's great.
We're going to take a break, and Elizabeth Eckel, thank you so much. Reverend Henderson's going to come back and talk more with us. You can see why these congregations are so excited about their pastor, the rabbi. Stay with us.